So this is definitely, I think, probably one of the most important tips when traveling solo. Maybe go a little crazy and then head home. Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Katie. I love to travel and I love talking about all things travel related. Now, I've flown by myself and I've driven long distance by myself, but always at my final destination, I was meeting friends or family, so the trip was never completely by myself. So when I received an email letting me know some really cheap flights from Nashville to Savannah, Georgia, I wanted to jump on the opportunity. However, none of my friends or family were available the weekend that I wanted to go. So that was when I decided to go by myself. So let's talk about my 5 tips for traveling solo. Tip number 1 is to choose your destination based on what you want to accomplish. So are you wanting to go to a big city for its history, for its art museums, for its entertainment, or are you wanting to escape your busy life and go lay on a beach and read a book by yourself? Kind of what you want to do will dictate where you go. Now, I chose Savannah, well, obviously because I received an email with cheap flights, but also because it's a smaller city, has lots of things to do, museums, a great food scene, so I didn't feel like I was going to be bored or lonely going there by myself. Tip number 2, choosing the length of your trip. For my Savannah trip, I chose a quick weekend getaway of 3 days, 2 nights, Saturday to Monday, so it gave me plenty of time to see some highlights of the city, eat some great food, and then head back before extreme loneliness and boredom set in. I recommend a shortened trip for your first solo trip as opposed to a 2 to 3 week excursion, especially if you're not used to being alone. So if you're not used to being alone at home, being alone at a destination that you're unfamiliar with can heighten your anxiety levels. It can increase boredom or loneliness. So for your first time, definitely recommend just choosing a shorter kind of quick weekend getaway for your first solo trip. Tip number 3 is to choose your accommodation wisely. I think this is probably one of the most important tips. It's number 3, should be number 1. I did these tips in no particular order, but I think it is important, obviously for safety reasons. You don't want to put yourself in danger since you are probably in an unfamiliar destination by yourself. Safety is important. But this tip is particularly important for a different reason. Now, I did my research and due diligence for the hotel that I stayed in Savannah long before I made the trip, but not everyone does that. And I found this out when I was reading the reviews after my trip. I went on to read the reviews to see if other people's experience was similar to my experience. Now, I know that sounds like, what a weird thing to do. The reason why is because the hotel that I chose was the Marshall House, which is one of the most haunted hotels in the state of Georgia, and probably in the top list in the nation. Now, every hotel and Airbnb is probably haunted in Savannah. It's a really haunted city. But this one in particular was built in the 1800s as a hotel, but was converted as a hospital during the Civil War time. So it has that added component to it as well. So the reason why I tell you to choose your accommodation wisely, because I was reading one reviewer who had stayed at this hotel who did not know this hotel was haunted and could not even make it through the night. There was so many different experiences of paranormal activity that just freaked them out, and they went to the front desk to complain about it, and the person at the front desk was like, did you not know this hotel was haunted? And this person was completely freaked out because they did not know that that's what they were signing up for. Had they known, they would not have stayed at this hotel. It's an experience staying at a haunted hotel, especially by yourself. So if that's not your jam, choose your accommodation wisely. Tip number 4 is don't fear eating alone. Now, that's probably one of the biggest things that people are kind of nervous or a little hesitant about when traveling solo is eating alone, because it's weird, it's awkward.
You don't know what to do with your hands. Well, eat. But you don't know what to do with your eyes. Where do you look?
I recommend choosing a restaurant that has a great social scene, very vibrant, energetic. Now, you can choose to sit at the bar, and if they have TV screens, that gives you something to watch. You can probably chat up the person sitting next to you or the bartender. But I like sitting at a table as opposed to the bar because you can really see the whole atmosphere of the restaurant, get the vibe, the energy, and you can have some more in-depth conversations with your server that you may not have with a bartender, since the music tends to be louder by the bar than at the table where it might be quieter. Also, the menu options are greater. At the bar, oftentimes they have that shortened bar menu versus the full menu that you would get at a table. Now, I made my reservation to Chive around 5 or 5:30. Yes, I like to eat dinner super early because I'm an old lady. Can make fun of me. But I think it was the perfect time if you're traveling solo, especially at a popular restaurant before the dinner rush, before it really gets busy. My server had a lot of free time to stop by my table and chat with me and have some really good conversation. So I didn't really feel too alone because I was able to have some conversations with my server and get a lot of great tips. The food was amazing. I even got a free drink at that restaurant. So you never know what opportunities or who you'll meet at a restaurant. Do not fear eating alone. Tip number 5 is to look at entertainment options. I think it's a great idea to look for activities or entertainment options that get you socializing and out with other people. And that's kind of hard to do when you're traveling solo. So some great options is looking for outdoor music venues or eating your dinner on the patio so you can people watch. Another option is to take tours. So when I was in Savannah, I scheduled a ghost tour. If you can see a theme here, ghost tour, haunted hotel. But if ghost tours aren't your thing, you can also choose a food tour or just a general walking tour to learn the history of that city. If you hadn't seen my 12 days in Italy trip, I talked about the food tour that we did there and how the next night we met up with people from that tour and had drinks. So tours can be a great opportunity to meet other people, and you never know what other activities that may lead to in hanging out and not feeling so alone. But I do like doing ghost tours in every city that I visit. Now, I do recommend maybe choosing an earlier time for a ghost tour and not necessarily the midnight ghost tour, because again, you're traveling solo, think about your safety. But if that's not something that's important to you, you can choose the midnight one. But I think they're fun and it's a great way to spend your evening. I do have a bonus tip, so this could be tip number 6, but it is to pack carry-on only. Because traveling solo, you do not want to have all this bulky luggage that you're hauling around because it's just you. So you want to be able to get in and out of the airport, of your taxi, of your Uber, of the train, wherever, as quickly, efficiently, and with minimal hassle. So packing carry-on only is a great way to do that. If you want to know how to pack carry-on only efficiently for a quick weekend getaway or your 2-week excursion, check out my carry-on only packing video that I'll leave in the link in the description. So that's my 5 tips plus a bonus on traveling solo. If you like this video, then like it. Please click subscribe. That'll really help out my channel. I have a lot of videos still to come, and I hope to see you in the next one. Ciao for now.